Good afternoon and Happy New Year to everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 4th, 2022, and this is the first hearing of the year and of the month for the City of Tempe hearing officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald. I'm the hearing officer for the City of Tempe. Joined this afternoon from Community Development by, to my left, Jeff Tamulevich, and on my right, Drew Yoakum. Thanks for being here and for helping. I'm going to read a brief preamble into the record, and then we'll go ahead and jump into our agenda this afternoon. The City of Tempe hearing officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out the provisions and the intent of the Zoning and Development Code and the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the city. Code violations include, but aren't limited to, deteriorated landscaping, structures, and swimming pools, inoperable vehicles, and storage of junk or refuse on the property. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts have been made at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, property manager, or other responsible person to abate a code violation, or they can authorize the city to abate that same condition. The cost of the abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation is found and may be collected as an assessment against the property found to be in violation. On today's agenda, we have 4 items. We have a set of minutes from November 16th, 2021, and we have 3 property abatements. I'd also like to note at this time that any property owner who is aggrieved by a decision rendered today can file an appeal within 14 calendar days after today's hearing. Accordingly, that deadline is 3 p.m. on January 18th, 2022. Abatement appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustment, after which they can also be appealed to the Superior Court. Again, the property owner has 14 days to file this appeal or bring their property into code compliance, and if they don't do either of those things, then the abatement will move forward and the property will be abated by the city. So that concludes all the housekeeping items. We can now jump into our agenda. The first item on our agenda this afternoon is a set of minutes from the hearing from November 16th, 2021. I had a chance to review those minutes in my hearing, and I believe that they accurately reflect what took place, so I'm going to go ahead and approve the minutes from November 16th, 2021. Agenda item number 2 is a request for abatement of nuisance items at the Gonzales property. This property is located at 1242 West 9th Street here in the city of Tempe, represented this afternoon by Code Inspector Julie Schofield.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Officer Julie Schofield, Code Inspector for the City of Tempe. I am here today to ask for a 180-day open abatement for the property located at 1242 West 9th Street. This case has been open since June 28th of 2021, and it was actually opened by a previous inspector who is no longer with the city. And I ended up taking this case over back at the end of July. But at that time, there had been 2 notices sent to the property owner, and then I also sent my own notice as well. I have had no contact with the property owner, but I have had contact with the tenants, and the property is still in violation, and it's in violation for the landscaping, front yard landscaping. It has grass and weeds and gravel growing through the front and sides. I've received 2 complaints for this property, and I've even issued a citation, which has gone to collections. At this time, I would like to present my photos. These were taken this morning. And this is the front of the property, and you'll see a lot of grass and weeds growing throughout the gravel landscaping. This picture is looking east into the front of the yard, and you can see a lot more of the grass and weeds going on. This is the southwest corner where the grass and weeds are still growing. This is the front of the property looking north on the east side of where all the grass and weeds are, and then this is the west side of the property showing that a closer shot of the grass and weeds growing throughout the gravel still.
And so I did have pictures in my packet taken in September, so nothing's changed. It's only gotten worse and the grass has gotten higher.
Exactly. It has gotten worse, and it's gradually going to get even worse with all the rains that we've just had.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was saying, I would like to request a 180-day open abatement for this property.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yocum, do we have anyone on the line, either the property owner or a member of the public, wanting to speak about this item?
No, Madam Hearing Officer. We've not received any communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, I agree with your assessment based on the photographs that were taken this morning. It definitely needs to be cleaned up. So I am going to grant the 180 days you're requesting in case number CE 213985.
Thank you so much.
That brings us to agenda item number 2, again presented by Code Inspector Schofield. This is a request for abatement of nuisance items at the Adams property. This is located at 5934 South Juniper Street. Ms. Schofield.
Afternoon again. Well, this property, like you said, is at 5934 South Juniper Street. This property has been receiving 4 complaints so far for the landscaping in the front and sides. This case was opened back in August 13th of 2021. Several notices have been mailed to the property owner. An attempt to contact the property owner was made at the middle of September, and at the end of September, a citation was issued, and that as well has gone to collections. I would like to request a 180-day open abatement on this property as well. And here is a picture of the front yard. There you go. And it's a lot of grass and weeds in the gravel, mostly in this area here, which is kind of hidden with the shadows in this picture. Here's a closer one of the weeds on the front. Here's, you could see more of the weeds and also the fallen fruit in the gravel. And just another picture of trying to get as close as I could to show all the weeds and fallen fruit in the yard. So at this time, I would like to request a 180-day open abatement for the clearing of the landscaping in the front yard.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yocum, anyone on the line, property owner or member of the public wanting to speak on this item?
No, Madam Hearing Officer. We've not received any communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Again, I agree with your assessment. It strikes me as odd, like I think people sometimes think if they put gravel down in a desert landscape that doesn't require any maintenance, because
Yes.
it's kind of a common theme that we've seen recently, where you still have to, spray the weeds and, maintain the property. And if they're not going to do it and haven't responded to your attempts at communication, then it's time for us to go in and do it. I'm going to grant your 180-day open abatement request for the Adams property contained in case CE 214946.
All right,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Agenda item number 4 is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Kate property. This property is located at 2005 East Howe Avenue. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented this afternoon by Code Compliance Inspector Andres Lara Reyes.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer. My name is Andres Lara Reyes, Code Compliance Inspector with the City of Tempe, Code Compliance Division. And I'm here this evening to request a 180-day open abatement for the property located at 2005 East House Street. And that's Tempe, Arizona, 85281. This case was initiated on May 14, 2021, and this is for a dead tree in the front yard. And also, this case was initiated by public complaint. 2 correction notices have been mailed and posted to the property. I also posted Care 7 and other brochures to assist with the violation before issuing any citations, but I did not hear from the owner. 1 citation was issued and there was no response from the owner through the courts. And as of this morning, the property remains in violation for a dead tree in the front yard. Here's the picture attached, and that's in violation as of this morning in the front yard.
Okay. And so what will they do? Just chop it down to the stump? Just out of curiosity?
Either remove it or cut it to ground level. Yes.
Because it's dead, like
It's dead.
not
Yeah.
dormant or
Yeah. There's no
anything.
live branches or anything. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Joachim, anyone on the line wanting to speak to this item?
No, Madam Hearing Officer. We've had no communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. This is probably a case where it's just easier for this owner to let the city do it rather than go try and get estimates and hire someone to do it for them.
Yeah.
So you don't need 180 days because it's a one-shot deal, correct?
I would like to have the 180 days based on other complaints that we received on the property for trash and debris and over high grass and weeds.
Okay.
But she took care of those 2 issues.
Okay,
So the 180 days will help to, in case, those violations come back within those 180 days, we can issue those issues at the
Okay.
same time.
Okay, great. Then I will grant your request for the 180 days for the open abatement of the Cape property at 2005 East Howe Avenue contained in CE 213021. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our agenda for this afternoon. Mr. Joachim, any announcements?
Yes, just one. The next hearing officer meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 18th at 5 p.m. That will be here in the council chambers as well as live on Tempe 11.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that being the end of our agenda, we are adjourned.
Thank you.